Grand welcome, ethereal seekers, light workers, warriors, lovers, and whoever you are, wherever you are, 1111 that's walked together through the portal of life. And yes, this is Jesus, known as Ethereal Seeker, Zeus, here to give you guys another transmission. It's been an amazing experience, right, guys? This time I want to talk about is one that's kind of, may make you feel a little uncomfortable because it deals with the shadow, the unconscious. So be prepared for that. Now, the unconscious level of everyone has an unconscious, which consists of a shadow. It's like we want to be light workers, but consist of only the light. It's good to understand that element of light and the vibration what light carries, but it doesn't nurture itself. The shadow actually does, because the shadow keeps it preserved, keeps it. It's like everyone that needs to heal, for example, is sit still, go to bed. They even doing psychotherapy. They dim the lights, it keeps it dark, for you can see more whole of your light within the darkness. The truth of who you are, you see it. The mind goes through a little, can't see, and they see itself. They don't see anything, beyond that perimeter of just having light and keeping you up. Because artificial light, what it does is keep you in that state of, I'm alert. But when you're not alert and it's a little dim, you tune into more of your space of you, which is really critical. So, furthermore, the unconscious which is the shadow, is a nurturer, not evil. Now, things can get a lot worse. I want to go on, which is when you neglect the unconscious, the shadow aspect of yourself, it can get out of control. Which means when people don't like to face the unknown, so to speak, that's when the unknown asks why you don't want to face it. It's you. If you ignore it and say, well, I don't feel comfortable because I had an experience growing up, for example, and my parents treated me as if my wants were not cared for, or nurtured, or even like no one has a voice besides me. You know how mommy talk, right? Or dad talk. So you may look at your own wants, the needs, as your shadow wants that to be accepted from the parent figure or the authority figure. No matter who it is, it could be your teacher, for God's sakes. And when that happens to a very sensitive soul, now everyone's not as sensitive as others, so it's not gonna directly target everyone that I'm talking about, but it will affect that individual. And when that individual feels as if his voice is not being heard or her voice is not being heard, that individual will feed that shadow with something a little different than what it may have got used to, which is trying to go to the authority figure for that nurturing. They may go to something a little different. They will neglect what the energy is telling them to go about. It's accepting anyone else's approval, and I'm accept what myself is. My own approval by going about it as detaching from the shadow, neglecting the shadow. I don't want to hear with something that could put me in a position to have to look towards my mother or my father or my teacher for a sense of security. I'm gonna detach from that energy to say I need that extra layer of security from another individual. And then you'll feed that same want with something different. That want can be a little bit more, let me say, little bit more manipulative. Say that I'm not gonna ask you, I'm gonna show you but not show you, passive aggressively, for example. And that's gonna be very manipulative. So I'm gonna purposely misplace your keys and make dad pissed off, have him late for his job, right? That's something that's kind of off the wall, but some people can go there. But anyway, just do something. I'm gonna become a bully in school because my mother and dad didn't want to nurture my feelings, so I had to feel compelled to want to make someone else feel a little uncomfortable. And so, because they have such a good energy, everyone likes them, so that's what I really wanted to be. I really wanted to be accepted, right? So you give that person the energy of, you're not accepted from me because I don't want you to feel that way. Because that's something that I know that may have made me feel more accepted within me. And I want you to have that expression around me, which makes me uncomfortable, the vulnerability. So you neglect, and that creates a leakage in your subconscious energies, which in that shadow realm, which in every aspect of you have a shadow, and every chakra has a shadow. Every part of you have a shadow. So just don't think it's just one big shadow and that's just it. But it may, that's my opinion about that, because I know how it feels. So the thing is, rather than going towards that individual with more compassion, because you know that's what you wanted, you go at it in a different way, which is building, just picking on the kid for no apparent reason, because you want to have that what that person has. So in neglecting that and doubling down on that energy, which is that unconscious force that's never gonna leave, but you're gonna keep on saying, I don't want to deal with that. So the unknown becomes a known way of giving you a no knowledge. You knowledge that now, but you don't want to give it fuel it. I'm gonna say, fuel it with compassion, a love, or understanding. You recondition your mind as a kid to not give it that, not to look for that authority figure, which can be very difficult to find, to make you feel secure or help you feel secure, because not anyone else's responsibility, but it's supposed to, in a sense. Now, because parents are parents for a reason. Now, I'm not going there right now, but anyway, it's one of those things that if you decided to double down on neglecting that shadow voice, and you rewrite your mind, as in going about treating that aspect of yourself in a very aggressive nature, a yin energy, a shadow aspect is giving people that complete, giving yourself no compassion by projecting on with the lack within you onto others, especially the ones that feel comfortable in that aspect of feeling secure and feeling compassion and loved from their peers and and their friends. So what happens is you will grow that sensation of a jealousy for people in that nature, and a hate really for yourself internally. It's not really the person you hate the element of what you can't identify within you, and seeing that live on and live through someone else. And so it gets real deep. And hold on one second. I'm drinking some of this beet juice, beets, ginger, bell peppers, celery, turmeric, something like that, and apple juice. But yeah, anyway. So when you go into that state of mind and you consistently double down on that energy, that becomes a force of nature. Regardless, you may have been a force of nature, regardless if you were positive about treating your shadow with a little bit more compassion, but essentially you condition your mind to go about that energy of the unknown with forcing the unknown onto, forcing that shadow to, not say forcing shadow, but you're giving it, you're fueling it with so much drive and anger, it turns to a real dark, insidious energy. So which leads to a lot of different levels. Everyone do things a little differently. Some people have different agendas. Some people not gonna hold on to them as long, but some people will hold on to it the rest of their lives and never heal it, and never know where this anger, this frustration, and these type of energies and vibrations are coming from. And that's your shadow trying to get your attention, but how are you going to go about it? I mean, what Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. So that means even the same way how you talk and treat yourself. Feeling has to be back in an equation of understanding and understanding and overstanding. People don't talk about feeling as much, and I think it's a lot of intellect out here. I'm not against that. I love intellect. It's a very, very, curious thing there. But, the feeling element of life, which creates these aspects of light and dark, which the shadow in the unconscious, in the conscious as in the light. And when it comes to love has a infinite vibration. So we talking about this hate element which hates is putting yourself in the funnel. After a while, it turns to hate of self. But really, because you can't face your unknown, which is yourself, you have to project it onto others. So it's that hate onto others you have to show, which is that vulnerability, and that's how you're going to bulldoze your energy on to others. It is not healthy for you nor anyone else. Some people can take it differently, so that's a little different conversation. But for you, it's not. And it can create an entity. It can draw in entities, and that's when you have these demonic forces come in. That's how they feed off your fear of not accepting the unknown. The unknown, which is a greater version of yourself. But if you recondition your mind to feel it with so much anger, frustration, aggression, no compassion, no trust, no yin energy, no nurturing, but only what you know to be in your face, in your mind, and at that moment is, I don't know how to go about this. People that I liked and I prefer to depend on are not accepting me for who I am. They're not nurturing my heart. They're not understanding my voice. These things. And you take it out on essentially on yourself, but not loving yourself, but you're giving it a different, temperature by raising the fucking 500 degrees. Now it's gonna burn a house down because you're so angry within you. Not burning the proverbial house. You're burning your own house down. What you feel as if is not being accepted within you, you're gonna give it more of this energy of I can't stand life, and you can't attach yourself to, especially the aspect of an unknown. That's what is yourself. When you go into that space of unknown, man, and you drawing in those other entities because you're so angry now, it feeds off of fear. And if anybody doesn't believe in evil, in this divine love, divine light, I would definitely suggest to look in further into research if the intellect draws you to it or your feelings draw you to it. Regardless, I don't know what resonates, but you know what resonates when you go against that shadow, that nurturer. That's what it's for. That's why babies stay in the damn womb for 9 months in the dark, in this beautiful cocoon. Like when caterpillars are in a cocoon and they waken to a beautiful butterfly. That's what we are supposed to be going through. But you can stay in that caterpillar and cocoon, and next minute you turn into something a little bit more darker, and that's what happens a lot. They create these completely one-minded, I'm out to control this X, Y, and Z. I'm a narcissist. I'm not gonna, bend. And it can be very difficult when you have a person that's very intellectual and manipulative from us. Not intellectual, but say, it's just evil. It's very, I can't even give that any credit of giving the intellect, but it's using the intellect for a funnel of the dark. As in, the unknown become a known knowledge, how to bridge the force, which is the yin in the form of a dark matter now. Because everything matters. That's why facts consist of matter, which comes from the heart. And so if your heart is not dealing with these unknown matters, but I'm gonna feed my heart with my unknown, with so much, BS, like complete lies, or I don't want to deal with it. Someone's gonna have to show me where I am, but I'm gonna make sure you go through this. I feel that these type of levels of energy is gonna completely decimate enduring entities to you. No matter what part of your body chakra it hits, one leakage to another is gonna join these entities. And what happens is you're looking at a whole different dynamic, which is something that just gives you pleasure. And when it gives you pleasure, to see someone else hurt, because that's something that you went through deep inside. You really don't want to be that person either, but it feels a little better if the crab is in the barrel with you. Those individuals like that. 1 second. And that's what I've seen a whole entire life. Many people like that. And it's like the sheeps, but it's different from the sheeps. It's the crabs. They have to bring you down there. They have to try to take you to that level with them. If not, it's going to be an issue with them. Well, that's your issue. But that's the entity. That's a condition of how to deal with your unknown and your shadow aspects, your unconscious. So next time you see an individual like that, it's real. You feed them with a little love. You not like that, but feed them with, don't meet them where they're at. Meet them with you. Because where they're at, you don't want to be there. But what I'm saying, you meet yourself first. And from that point on, you do what's necessary. Because those energies right there feed off that reactionary energy of that aggression. But you can chill back and take care of you once you walk off from that, right? For example, and I don't promote violence, but or any kind of altercations, but it's life. It's just life, man. I think that we don't, we want to maintain this image, and it's not really reality sometimes, It's reality, for some, great, but you're going to be met with some challenges, man. And so if you're giving it the same tempo of that fire, that anger, that you're going to come at it so nasty. Life's going to be rough. And it's going to be heavy. You know how the energy all seems to be heavy and it's draining? Yeah. Because that's how they feel within. So they frustrated over that energy, so they have to give it on to someone else. Yeah. So anyway, hope I explained that in a very detailed manner for you guys to see how the inner world works. But I want you guys to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you like. Send me an email. We can discuss whatever you're going through. We can give it a real good, talk one-on-one. Follow me on Instagram, Ethereal Seeker. You know, and I have content on there as well. Have my daily talks and this beautiful content. That's just share, you know. And I know times can be very hard. I seen people in my eyes like they really going through it, man. So that's be connected. And until then, guys, be well, be gracious, and seek us. Until then, I'm out.